Boo-doo-doo, boo! Hello and welcome back to News Cycle, the weekly show where we look at some of the most interesting stories, I would say at least, going on in the world of music this week. Now we've got two main stories to talk about this week, plus a few smaller ones, and then some of the new interesting music I've been listening to this week, plus a Rock Cycle exclusive. Has Cameron finally got the haircut that he so desperately needs? The answer may surprise you. Now quickly before we jump into that, I need to ask you a quick favour. No, it's not like and subscribe, but if you want to do that, I would love it personally. It's, do you listen to the band Bring Me The Horizon, and do you love them or do you hate them? Could you please comment down below if you love or hate them, and please explain why, for a chance for your comment to feature in an upcoming video. Oof, just think about all that free clout you'll get with the 10 views. Well, the first story this week is, surprise surprise, Brexit is fucking up the British music industry. I mean, who would have thought it besides Roger Daltrey?
Very last one, Brexit looks like it's getting further and further away. Is it going to be bad for British rock music?
No, we don't do the rock business. What's it got? It's got to do with rock business.
And then a tour in Europe.
Oh dear, as if we didn't tour in Europe before the f***ing EU.
In all seriousness though, Brexit is a very complicated issue with lots of different things going on and lots of legitimate arguments from every side of the spectrum. But honestly, I think it was pretty well understood that Brexit was going to damage the British music industry, and I didn't really see any arguments about how it would make it better. I mean, there were some people saying that it wouldn't have an effect, but I don't think anyone said it would make music industry better. So from January 2021, any artists from the EU that want to come and play in the UK will have to pay £244 each, plus have £1,000 in their bank account, and they'll need to show that they're a big artist with appeal over here. And I think that applies to every single member of the band, and it looks like it will also apply to the touring crew, management and whatever that come along with the band. And even meeting all those requirements doesn't necessarily guarantee that you'll get a performing visa to come over here and play. Now, I couldn't find any details on this, but it looks like it'll be a similar situation for British artists who then want to go out and play in the EU now as well. Now, I'm sure all the big artists like Roger Daltrey and The Who will be completely fine having to pay an extra 250 quid. But for all those small bands who don't have a lot of money because they're just starting out, they don't have the management team, they may come on tours over here, not really for financial gain, just for the exposure and the experience that like a lot of bands have in the past. And it's how I've discovered a lot of bands I really love when they've been playing these tiny opening shows just for the exposure, and I've listened to them and I've really liked them. But it looks like bands won't be able to do that anymore. They'll only be able to come to the UK if they're going to be making a few £1,000s in profit, and that won't even be profit anymore. I think this is going to have some quite long-term impacts on the British music industry. We're going to get a lot less artists coming over here and building up British relations. We're going to get a lot less artists coming and playing in these small musical venues around the country. And really it's just going to cut off a load of artists right at the beginning of their career just because they don't have enough finances to be able to do a tour like this to come over to the UK, or for British artists to go over to Europe. So hopefully they can find new ways to generate income to make these tours viable, because I think it's a great way to support artists and it's a great way to discover new artists. The Musicians Union is currently trying to start a petition to make a special performing artist visa that will apply for artists and musicians, but so far it looks like that's going to be unlikely, so these are the rules we're going to have to live with from January 2021, unfortunately. The next main story of the week, although I think this actually happened last week, but it seems to be a bit of a slow week for music news. But anyway, it's Matt Healy is promoting gender equality. So while he isn't cancelling current commitments that he already has, from now on he looks like he's only going to be playing festivals with, it looks like a 50-50 gender representation, although he didn't specifically say 50-50. But at the very least he'll only be playing festivals with a large female representation on the lineup. Now, I really think there is a big problem with the lack of female representation in music, and I think it's great to try and encourage it, but I'm not sure this is the right way to go about it necessarily. Because ultimately, how much power does he and the 1975 have alone? Maybe if a few more big names join in with supporting them on this, we'll see some real change. But I think if it's just them, the festival will just not book them and book someone else. I think this is a great cause to support, but I think we're going to see really slow progress with it. Because a festival could easily book a lineup that's 50-50 representation of really talented artists. But ultimately at a festival, talent doesn't matter. It's all about your size and your audience and who's going to bring a crowd and who's going to sell tickets. Just because you're talented doesn't mean you'll sell tickets. So I think festivals really have to rely on the rest of the music industry to establish these big female names that are like on par with the big male names, so that they'll sell tickets, because then they'll put them on the lineup. I'm sure lots of these festivals fully support equal rights and all of that stuff. It's just a purely business decision that there aren't as many female names out there that will sell tickets as well as the male ones, unfortunately. So I do think it will be interesting to see, does Matt Healy actually follow through on this? And he's already, looks like he's deleted the tweet about it that he originally put out, so it looks like he may already be backtracking and realising that this is going to severely limit the amount of festivals the 1975 can play in the upcoming future. So now onto some more quick news stories. Metallica have cancelled a couple of festivals this summer, including Sonic Temple, where they're playing 2 headline slots, and that's because James is focusing on his rehab. I think it is, if that's important to him, he should do that. I think he should definitely prioritise health over music. So all the best to him, and I hope the recovery goes well. In similar news to that, Ozzy Osbourne's just released his new album, Ordinary Man, and it's the first ever album out of the many he has put out that he's done entirely sober. So congratulations to him on that, and if Ozzy Osbourne can get sober, I guess there's hope for everyone. We've had a bit of new album news this week that has interested me. First we had Bring Me the Horizon saying that they are in the studio working on new music and that it's evolving every day, so we don't know what it's going to be like, but we'll be getting new music sooner rather than later. Yumi at 6 are also promising a new album out soon. They say it's going to be the heaviest Sinners Never Sleep. And that's quite a surprise to me, considering the direction they've gone with their more recent music, where it's a lot more electronic and experimental and a bit more mainstream friendly compared to the heavier Sinner Never Sleeps. So on to some of the interesting new music I've been listening to this week. So Biffy Clyro have made their long awaited return, even if it's not quite how we expected them to do it. Instant History combines the classic Biffy Clyro sound with some interesting experimental and EDM influences to make a result that I personally really enjoy. The 1975 released the dreamy and soothing Birthday Party from the upcoming album. All Time Low released Sleeping In, channeling their pop-punk energy into a bit more of a mainstream-friendly format. And Hayley Williams continues to dive into her newfound mysterious alt-pop in her song Cinnamon. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed watching. If there's anything you think I missed out, let me know down in the comments below. As always, like, share, subscribe, the usual YouTube shit. Hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next video.